Bushland Coffee Company was founded so the community would have a convenient location to connect with others while enjoying healthy drinks and nutritious snacks. Our mission is to nourish our customers and our community with our culture and our coffee. Our values include joyful service, healthy nutrition, and community fellowship. Come by and get a drink and a snack Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 7 to 6 p.m. Go Falcons!
Well, welcome everybody to Week 9 Coaches Show. Chris Welch is in the house. Coach Reynolds in the house. Mark Webb, we're here breaking down, Week 8 against opening district game against, them people, Shallow Water. And then we got a Week 9 contest coming up against Dalhart Golden Wolves. Coach, welcome. Thanks for being here today, bud. Appreciate you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Feel like I just saw you, right?
Oh, yeah, you did.
I did. It was fun. We just, Coach and the captains came and hung out at the church with us last night, helping with our fall festival, and very appreciative to you guys. And, those guys got a workout last night, so I told Coach to take it easy on them today because it was fun. I thought. I mean, people had fun. You ever played that game Whack-A-Mole? Well, we had Whack-A-Falcon last night, and they were as they would pop up. I'm like, I wasn't that mean. I could have had them just doing squats, but I gave them a chair to sit on. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So that's pretty nice of me. But anyways, to you 5 captains out there, so let's see, Jenner King, Bryson,
Brock
Fisk, that's right, and then Jayton Fetch and Colton Strickland, those 5. Man, I just appreciate you guys being there last night. Coach, appreciate you being there.
Yes,
and so here we go. We're going to dive into, really just to kind of break down last week a little bit, some things that we take away from the game, and then look ahead. We've got a game tomorrow night, home senior night tomorrow. Is that correct? Yeah. And so we'll play against Dalhart tomorrow night. So coming out of that first district game, what did you see? What did you see right? What did you see? Man, it would have been better if, you know what I mean? So
yeah, well, I mean, obviously you want to walk away, from that game with the win, but it was a really good high school football game to watch for a spectator. I had several people there that I knew that were just there and just watching, or just kind of neutral. And they're like, man, what a great game to watch. It didn't come out the way y'all wanted it, but it's a great game. And it was, I think it's 2 good teams fighting for, that first win, and the thing I took away from it is we continue to get better and make improvements in a lot of ways every week. And as a coach, that's what you want to do. No matter where you start the season, whether you feel like you're really good or, where you're at, you want to see improvement and growth throughout the season. And we're seeing that. And sometimes we're seeing that in wins and what's on the scoreboard. Even just like Friday night, we did a lot of good things. We had definitely some, mistakes that hurt us and cost us some opportunities. And, when you're fighting for that, you've got to eliminate some of those mistakes. Every team's going to have some mistakes, and you're going to have more than the other team. But when it comes down to a 1 or 2 point game, and you have a couple of more mistakes, I mean, you're talking about 1 or 2 plays. That's what we told the kids. Like, if we can, and everybody's going to do this in some way, but if you could go back and change about even 4 to 5 plays this season, we could be sitting at 6 and, they're 5-3, 6-2 on the year right now. But, you can't. That's like me talking about my golf game. Well, I may shoot a 90 if I would have made those 5 putts, but I didn't make those 5 putts. You know what I mean? Then I would have shot at 84 or whatever, So bottom line is we didn't get it done, and there's things we've got to fix. And we're in that part of the year now where we want to have those things fixed, because now it's starting to really count towards, district championships, district seeding. And as you get into the playoffs, that's the next phase of this deal. As you get into the playoffs, there's no being able to fix it the next week. It's win or go home as you get to the playoffs. We're not there yet, but we're still improving as a team, and we're seeing that in all 3 phases of the game each week. And we're very proud of our kids for that, because that's not easy to do. When you look up and you lose by 2 to the Shallow Water in the first district game, but we're proud of what we're doing and where we're going.
So that game starts off with the big kick return. It was 87 yards or whatever. So your team starts from behind right off the bat.
Right.
That's not how you want to start. As a coach, you're frustrated, but you got to encourage your team at that point. What'd you tell the team at that point, right? Because I know you're probably over there going,
Yeah.
But you can't do that with them because it's way
Yeah.
too early in the game. So
Yeah.
what was your message to them at that point?
Well, it kind of hits you, right? It hits you wrong, because I don't know. Well, I would say the last time, or if I can ever recall, giving up the opening kickoff return for a touchdown, and it happens so fast that it's like, wow, it's kind of a gut punch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what you tell them is like, you got to fix the problem. We're not running our lanes correctly. Usually when you do that, give up a kickoff return, you're not running your lanes correctly and you're not tackling. So it's like, hey, immediately it's like, we got to fix that, because we're going to do it again at some point in this game. We're going to kick off. That's the plan. Yeah. Hopefully you're not kicking off once, but you got to fix the problem. We got to look. One thing you can do now, allowed to in high school football is you can have videos where you're watching, in between plays, in between series.
Yeah,
so
we see the coaches
film,
up there next to
film
them.
is like, all right, what do we do? Who's not running their lane? Who didn't tackle? Who didn't get off the block? So you try to fix that. One, but you try to also tell the kids, all right, there's a lot of game left. Settle in. We can't let this one play right here define us the first play of the game.
Yeah.
And settle in and looking back, it was really important.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was really important. But at that stage of the game, you just got to tell your kids, all right, fix it. There's a lot of football left. Let's go settle in and play.
So being a 2-point ball game, it's just a heartbreaker, right? I mean, one of those things is when you look at it, of course, you get your extra point blocked, so you have to go for 2 for the next one. So now you got so I mean, when you look at that and man, this ball game, again, the coulda, shouldas, and wouldas, as you've already said, right? If we had just done this, but as you look at it, I mean, how do you come, like when you get those guys over there, and you're talking to them after the game, because all of them have probably that same thing. What's that message to those guys after the game as well, just after losing such a close game?
Yeah, it's hard to look at those guys and see the disappointment on their face after the game like that. My message to them after the game was, I can't be disappointed in you at all. The way you fought, the way you continue to fight and battle and give yourself a chance to win. I'm disappointed for you because of the outcome of it. You know what I mean? You have, whether it be a game or a season, man, you have outcome-based goals, and you have process-based goals. And hopefully that process stuff takes care of the outcome is what you're looking for, And when you see the looks on their faces of disappointment, I just told them, I said, I can't be disappointed in your effort. I can't be disappointed in what you're doing. I said, I'm disappointed for you and the fact that we didn't get it done on the scoreboard. But when you have guys that are fighting and doing all the things you're asking them to do, you got to stay positive with them at that point. It's because, again, whether it's from the opening kickoff, but then we get the ball and we drive a 20 or 21 play drive to answer that. Yeah. That's a positive. The negative part is we don't get any points out of it. You know what I mean? And then they turn around and go 99 yards to answer that. So you're talking about just the swing and momentum, just down and up. You answer it, but then you don't score, but you have them pinned and they go down. But then we continue just to fight and stay in the game. Then we eventually do answer it, and ended up being down 2 possessions at halftime. And then in the second half, get to a point to where you keep fighting and you're back in it, with the chance, the ball in your hands to go win the football game. So you got to really hit the positives there at that point because they are doing some great things.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids are doing some great things. But eventually, in that outcome-based goal, you do when you're trying to win the football game. And it's hard. I feel for our guys because, they're fighting and that's all we can really ask them to do.
I think one of the key plays in that game there towards the end, and in that matter of a second, if not 2 seconds, as a fan or as a broadcaster, and then as a coach, when that ball gets tipped in the air, and then Jenner ends up getting it and running it in, what's your thought process as it gets tipped? And then when Jenner gets it and there's nothing but green ahead
Yeah.
of him, I mean, you got to go from oh crap to
Yeah.
oh yay, right?
Oh yeah, well, it's
And I
funny.
mean, good job on Jenner just staying into play.
Oh yeah, well, we're at that moment. I'm actually talking to the offensive coaches on the headset, talking about, all right, depending on what they do right here, because I think in the down before we had taken a timeout.
Yep.
We're talking about time, how much we're going to have, what we like, what we can go do, about where we're going to get field position off a punt if we stop them, stuff like that. And as we're speaking is when that happens, and your first thought is, all right, and then I'm thinking, go score,
Yeah.
run it back, run it back, and just like, all right, here we go, we got a chance, and just. Jenner continues to make plays, on both sides of the ball, and again, just the fight of our kids to keep fighting right there, because they had some weapons offensively. The quarterback, the running back, a couple of receivers were very athletic, and we just put the pressure on them. I mean, we gave up some yards, kind of a bend but don't break type of night on defense. To hold them to 3 offensive touchdowns, was pretty good on our part defensively. So, yeah, just even just that little, like you said, series of 2 or 3 plays or 8 to 10 to 15 seconds right there, a lot changed just because you're thinking, all right, we got a chance to get the ball back, but you're not thinking you're about to pick it off right there, So, just a great job of, like I said, of getting pressure on the quarterback, and continue to put pressure on their offense right there in a moment where it could be tough. That can be a tough spot when you're on offense with that lead, when you're wanting to run the clock, but at the same time, you really need to convert and move the chains, or you're going to have to give the other team the ball back. So, it worked out for us at that moment right there.
Well, turning the page to this week, you got Dalhart coming to town against senior night. What are you seeing in Dalhart that, and I know they're bringing back that stud wide receiver that they had from the last few years. I can't remember. Of course, I know the quarterback.
Talon.
The receiver. But what are you seeing out of that team coming to town as, and do you view this one as, I know you want to win, but this is like a must win, right? Because then you hope that in some way, somehow, Dalhart could go and beat them, and then we could still end up in that number 1 seed at some point, right?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things on Monday we addressed in our team meeting before we went out for practice is, all right, here's the situation, here's the scenarios, 14 districts, so it's kind of odd having that, but all the different scenarios, you look at right now as far as if we were, to come out with the win, you start looking at hopeful like tiebreaker stuff. When you get a tiebreaker, you look at head-to-head first between the teams that ended up tying, and then you look at points. There's a point system set up. So with all that being said, what we talked about is, we put all 4 teams in our district. We keep up with the plus minus as far as the scores, all that stuff. Bottom line is, and I circled us. I said, that's all we control.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different situations and scenarios, but it doesn't matter if we don't control this team. We can't control what everybody else does on Friday night other than us, But I think it's important for them to know, you're still playing for a lot. There's a lot that can happen in this district, So we take care of us first, and then we let the chips fall where they may. You want to be in control. You want to be 1-0 right now, still in control of everything. That's the benefit of that, winning that first game and a big one against Shoutwater is you want to be in control of it. Okay, to a certain extent, we still control a lot of what happens. If we don't take care of Friday night, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So with that being said, talking about Dalhart, a very confident football team right now. I think. They're 7-1, feeling really good about themselves and deservedly so. They played really good football. Coach Reed, Coach Kitchens, they do a great job, and they're, you look at it first, they're putting a lot of points on the board.
Yeah. A lot of yards.
Yeah, Trussler, the quarterback, is he's a dude. He can run it. He's got speed. He can run with power, physicality. He throws the ball well. They have good receivers. Talon Garcia, is a 3-year returner there. They have a lot of experience, right now with that group. Guys that have been up, that senior class. You know, they've been up, most of them since they're sophomores, even a little bit as freshmen, some of them, I think. So, but playing well. You know, the running backs are playing well. Their linemen are playing well, and their defense are playing well. You know, I think that's probably overlooked is their defense. You know, for example, they play Millshoe. Millshoe's put up a lot of points this year.
A lot.
They shut out Millshoe. You know, they have a couple of different shutouts on the season. So I think they're a really good football team. You know, and there's going to be a tough game tomorrow night at our place. And then, you know, hopefully we can keep improving and end up on the winning side of it.
Yeah, you definitely want to come out for this ball game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Pack the stands for sure. Coach, as you look ahead, a little bit of what's coming up from your undervarsity, how are those teams doing this year? And are you seeing some kids that maybe stepping up that you didn't know about going into the year?
Absolutely. You know, we so proud of our JV. You know, I believe as far as the record goes, I think they're 5-1-2 or something like that this year. You know, through 8 games, and I think we've talked about it before. Just telling those guys how proud of them that we are, because you know, again, JV's kind of one of those weird spots sometimes where, you know, they end up having guys up, you know, some sophomores up, and everybody has that a little bit. But we end up having some sophomores up and some sophomores that are injured, and you know, you look out there and it's kind of a totally different team than what you saw out there last year as freshmen or what they were used to in junior high. And that could be difficult, you know, and challenging for those guys. And then you throw in that they're running scout team, helping the varsity prep, you know, every day out there. And the fact that those guys have gone out and, you know, they just gotten better. You know, I know last week they had a great week of practice and helping our varsity, you know, our quarterback, you know, JV quarterback, you know, Pierce Davis, you know, he's gone out there and he had a great week last week. We're asking him to get out there and run around last week like the shallow water quarterback, and it's hard to simulate that because that kid is an athlete, you know, and he did an extremely, you know, good job last week. And a lot of times that shows up on Thursday, and they go out on the road Thursday at shallow water and get a good win on the road. So they're doing a great job. And our freshmen, you know, had another good week. They had kids out last week with, you know, Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning. It was like just kids dropping like flies out with the flu, you know. Didn't have kids at practice. Thursday, you know, I'm getting calls and emails about so-and-so's out with the flu, so-and-so's out, you know, we're going over there to shallow water to play a game and with guys out, and your coaches are having to change game plans and fill in special team roles, and you know what it does is open up other opportunities for other kids.
Yeah,
you know, and you have kids step in there, you know, like, you know, Luke Purcell, you know, going on that freshman team, starting the defense and playing the whole game and doing a great job. A lot of guys, just examples like that, who maybe haven't played as much, but it's like, all right, let's go. We're going to slide you in here. And really Cooper White, you know, going and playing free safety, you know, for various reasons and sicknesses, free safety, people are out. We'll slide Cooper in there and he plays the whole game, free safety. He hadn't played there down all year, you know, and it's just cool to see guys do that and get their opportunity. And a lot of guys across the board, I forget to name all of them, but anyways, they go over there to shallow water, same thing, and get a dominant win over there. So then our junior highs continue to do well and improve and do a great job, and just really proud of just the program and our sub-varsity coaches and our kids for continuing to finish strong.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that means JV freshmen will be on the road tonight in Dalhart. Is that correct?
Yes, combined. It's a combined game. Dalhart doesn't have a freshman team,
Okay.
so we'll have a combined JV freshman game tonight.
All right, good. And then 7th and 8th grade here?
7th and 8th grader here, yes, sir.
Will it be, I know last week you were able to play 4.
Just two.
Just two?
Just the
Okay.
7th grade game starting at 5 o'clock, then an 8th grade game, 6:30 after that.
okay.
And tomorrow, again, senior night, come out, support the Bushland Falcons. But beforehand, the Bushland Booster Club is doing a trunk or treat right in the parking lot there. So make sure you come out, bring the kids out for that. That'll be a lot of
It
fun
will.
for the community. I guess we could bring out the, whack it. No, we can't. We got a football game. We got a football game. Sorry.
But you're going to go in the
Can't do that. Well, and I will tell you, my favorite costume last night, somebody came dressed as me.
Really?
Bushland Falcon Media. They had the name tag. They had it all. They had the headset on.
All right.
And I ended up giving me the name tag after. I was like, man, that's the best costume ever. No, I'm just joking. But it was awesome. We had a lot of fun. But all right, well, so tomorrow night, 7:00 kickoff against Dalhart at home. Make sure you come out. Again, I think the trunk or treat begins somewhere around 5:30, 6, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But make sure you come out there beforehand. Do the trunk or treat with the Bushland Booster Club. And then they also have a raffle that they're going to be drawing tickets for. The winner's going to be tomorrow night. So if you haven't got your tickets, you might want to try to get a hold of somebody and get your tickets before they do that. So other than that, all right, Coach, thanks for taking time again this week, being here, bud. Appreciate you. Chris, glad you're not on the road this week.
That's right, not on the road this week.
Man, but I know we got a lot of meetings to get to, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and just tell you guys thank you all for tuning in to Bushland Falcon Media. It's Bushland Falcon Media, where every game comes to life. Y'all have
Bushland Coffee Company was founded so the community would have a convenient location to connect with others while enjoying healthy drinks and nutritious snacks. Our mission is to nourish our customers and our community with our culture and our coffee. Our values include joyful service, healthy nutrition, and community fellowship. Come by and get a drink and a snack Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 7 to 6 p.m. Go Falcons!